really strong financial arms in them, so they're strong when finance is strong. And that's what we're seeing. And it is kind of another bubble. But as long as the general economy is deteriorating, and this is what happened going into last year, and the banking economy is rising, that whole dislocation is just getting wider than it was. And it is kind of a bubble. It is a bubble. And I don't think it will end well. I don't think that banks going back to trading in the ways that they are doing, and that is how they're making their profits. If you dissect what they come up with, it's not from consumers, because consumers aren't doing better. So it is from stuff that's not tangible, and that is risky, and that is speculative. And that's just not going to end well. And unfortunately, and I don't know if it will happen under Obama, or if he's in for another term, it might. I don't know exactly the year. But I think we will see a downside. Actually, some journalists asked me to predict when the Dow would reach 10,000. That's like my homework assignment for tomorrow. Magazine called Smart Money. And I don't know, but I think it could, because at the moment we're not dealing in reality. We're dealing in a subsidized system. And given that, yeah, it could go higher, but not on anything, certainly not individually economically stable. I think, two more questions. Ruthie and...
I think if you have an economic system where the goal of it is to make more and more money, to make more than the other person, then you got to automatically have this inequality. And after 100 or 200 years of doing that, you have this huge skew, this huge division that you were talking about. So I think that once it gets to that point, it's really hard to regulate them. It's really hard to make a law or a regulation, or it's really hard to say, no, you better tell us what you're really doing, because they're so powerful and they have so much money. The other problem that happens once it gets that way, I think, is that, I think the reason they're doing more speculation now is that when so many people don't have any money, it's hard to make anything real. So I guess, my view would be to look into, instead of trying to make capitalism, which led us there, better, I think it would be worth looking into how to make socialism better.
Or just stuff.
Well, but a whole different motivation of how
Yes.
to run the economy.
Just last question.
I'm wondering, who do you trust in Congress right now? Who you think understand the issues in the way that you have explained it or have studied it, and who could also be a leader?
I'll answer that first. It's easier. No, I do trust some people in Congress. I do have faith in people in Congress. I think that Congressman Alan Grayson from Florida has been doing tremendous work, and not only has he been doing good work and having guts, and he actually has like web lists. When I talked about getting involved, he actually sends questions out as to what he is going to put into his testimony, as to what he is going to write in a letter to the Fed. And there's a lot of people, I get those questions. There's a lot of us on this list who actually have the ability to tell him what to say, not that he doesn't, but to help, to fashion it. And it gets into public testimony. So that's a good partnership, and he encourages more people to do that. So that's one person. A little bit less in the spotlight is Byron Dorgan. For years he has predicted everything that has happened, which is why he's kind of sidelined, I think, in the Senate in terms of getting anything. But it's so there are some people, and I think the important thing about those people is that we reelect. Dorgan's gotten elected a number of times, but that we reelect them, and we make it clear that we like this. We like it when they understand what's going on and don't actually want to contribute to a new collapse. That's a good thing. In terms of capitalism, the problem with all of this is that in the capitalist system, banks have become recipients of socialist generosity, and that in itself has been wrong. And it's not like we didn't know this. It's not like companies didn't get tax breaks and all these sorts of things for years. They didn't get deregulated. They did. But right now, like a year after all of this catastrophe last year, when the general economy is still not doing better, they have a tremendous amount of federal generosity. And I think we need to shift some of that. So when we have these like healthcare debates, and we have these, when we're asking for literally pennies on the bailout, that that becomes part of driving money that is available because it is our money out of making the inequality bigger and the wealth bigger and the power of everyone who's getting that access and that subsidy bigger and actually shifting it. Anyway, I want to thank you again. And there are books. You're going to talk about this. There are books here that I have signed, but that if you buy, I'll sign to you. And you buy them downstairs. So thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Thank you to Nomi Prins. She's going to stick around if you have any.